Welcome, my friends, back to part 2 of Royal Majesty. And I thought in this part we would add our liquid clear, our liquid white, and maybe do our sky. So what we're going to do is, I've got a 1-inch brush here. It's an older 1-inch brush that I use for scrubbing, because applying this liquid white, this liquid clear is a lot of scrubbing, because all you want on here is a very, very, very thin coat over our black gesso here. Because if you get this liquid clear on too thick, it'll just drip down when you get your paint applied to it, and all your paint will fall right off the canvas. And I mean, it takes very, very little of this liquid clear. A jar of this stuff would probably last you a year or two. Longer than that if you didn't do a lot of black canvases that required it. I know a lot of people don't show the application of the black gesso and the application of the liquid clear and the application of the liquid white too, but to me it's a part of it, and I think it's something you need to see so you'll know when you get ready to do your painting how to do it. The reason Bob didn't really spend a lot of time trying to show it in his videos is Bob was very limited to, I think, 27 minutes of airtime. So Bob really didn't have a lot of time to spend doing the prep work. Bob's time was spent mainly showing you how to paint the technique. Now in this painting, he did say that he applied Prussian blue and midnight black to the canvas, to this black part. Alright, all I'm doing here is taking a napkin and just very gently rubbing this liquid clear down, removing as much of it as I can, but still leaving enough on there to keep our canvas wet and slick. And you can just about bet that that's going to be almost perfect right there. Now when you put the liquid black on, it's a little bit easier to see the liquid clear when you put it on, because it shines, whereas putting white on white, it's a little more difficult to tell where you're putting the liquid white. But we'll figure it out. We'll get it worked out. Alright, I'm going to say that's plenty of the liquid clear. In fact, I'm going to say that's almost perfect. Now if you want to test that, you can come up and rub your finger across it and kind of look where your finger just went across, and you don't want to see a spot that looks like a boat just went across there, like it's leaving a little wake behind it. And you can feel your finger, and if your finger don't feel real wet, well, that's where you want to be with it. Alright, now we'll shake our liquid white up real good. And anytime you shake your liquid white real good, you're going to end up with some left in the cap. And when you bring your brush into it, and this is a 2-inch brush I'm using now, and it's an older 2-inch brush that I use for scrubbing. Because if you take out your good brushes and start using them for this process, for the liquid clear and the liquid white, you're gonna wear through them pretty quick, because it does take a lot out of the brush. Now you can see that liquid white is opaque, meaning it will cover up other colors. But if you put it on in a thin enough coat, it'll leave all of those little trees that we put on, it'll leave those visible. And that's because it's a real thin coat. Now you can keep it, you can put it on too thick and cover them completely up. But you take your same little napkin and come back up here and just lightly rub that color away, just like so. Knock it out of your brush, come back up and work it in, just like that. That's all you gotta do. And then that's ready to paint on. Now, one thing that I have noticed about liquid white is this stuff gets everywhere. So what I do when I put my lid back on is I'll take me a clean paper towel and I'll go around that sealing edge, because it usually squeezes a little out, and that will run down your jar, and when you pick it up the next time, that stuff will get all over your hands. And when it gets on your hands, it just goes from there. Alright, now we're going to put out our colors. And what we're going to put out, I guess I should have done this already. I apologize for not having that done. Alright, we're going to put us out some Prussian blue. And we're going to put out some midnight black. And we are going to put out some titanium white, if I can find it. I know I got some somewhere. I am fixing to have to make a paint order, I can tell you that. Been doing a lot of painting lately, and I like that. Having an opportunity to paint it's always fun. Now this painting it's a little challenging. It's not I wouldn't consider it a beginner painting at all. It's at least intermediate. I mean, it's a pretty challenging little deal. But it's still a fun little painting to do, so we'll do it. Alright, to put these colors on, I'm going to use a 1-inch brush, because it's not a whole lot of coverage. Alright, we're going to go right into our midnight black, pull a little of that on our brush, and then a little of our Prussian blue, and we'll mix these two colors right on the brush. And just load it right into the brush like so. Then we'll come up to the canvas. Now I'm going to start down at the bottom in the black, and you won't see it because it is a transparent color. And we don't need a lot of this color. in this painting down here. We will lightly scrub it in. I don't like using my Bob Ross brushes to scrub with. I must say that is plenty of the blue and black. Okay. Then we will come into it a little more. Pick us up a little more Prussian blue, a little bit more to black. Tap it on the brush. Come up to the top. Let's get a little bit more of the blue in that. Okay. And just making your little X strokes. Just work your way all the way across the canvas. Just kind of be, you know, be liberal, but also keep in mind that you want to leave a few white spots up here, or light spots. Let's get a little bit more color on the brush. We'll come back up here. As we work down to the trees, we just kind of want this color to just disappear down here at the bottom. We don't want it real blue and black down here. We don't want it real colorful. Okay, about like so. That's about all we need. And you can come up here and just blend these colors in. Just like so. That's a pretty sky. Hope it shows up on the camera as good as it looks to me. Alright. Now, with that, we will pick us up a fan brush. Now this part right here it's fun. I mean, it's a totally different way of making clouds, and this is the way Bob made these clouds in this video, and it's easy, but the trick to it is keeping the brush moving. That's the trick. Now, when you first come up, we want to touch the canvas, and we want to start just back and forth. Just start twisting that brush anywhere and everywhere. Just twist it, spin it, twist it, just all over the canvas. Go and load it back up. Come up here, do it again. Just spin it and twist it. That's all we're doing. Just spin it and twist it. I'm not trying to use any kind of pattern here. I'm not trying to put more paint in one area than another. I'm just spin it and twist it. That's all I'm doing. Come all the way down into your valley here. Just spinning and twisting. Just like so. That's all we had to do. And then we will pick us up a clean, dry 2-inch brush. Now, dry is key word here. You want to make sure the 2-inch brush is dry. Because if it's not dry and you come into that white paint, it's going to go to smearing, and you're going to be in what he calls agony city. But now, with that being said, just take that brush and just kind of come up here and tickle this white, just very lightly. Make you some little circles, just very lightly. Tickle the white, tickle the canvas, very lightly. And then you can knock that. You're going to pick a little color up, not much, but you're going to pick a little up. So just knock it right out of the brush. And then come back up and just start very lightly blending with the X strokes. Just very lightly feathering it. Just blending that white and those clouds. Just softly blending. And the more you blend these, the more they'll go away. You can blend these as soft as you want. In fact, if you stayed here and blended them enough, they would blend completely out of the painting. And then just come across very lightly and take out the brush strokes. Just like so. And what we have there is, we have our liquid clear applied with our blue and our black, midnight black, and Prussian blue. We have our Prussian blue in the sky, and we have our clouds. That is a different way of making clouds altogether. We got them in the sky, and instead of making the video real long, we'll come back on part 3 and we will do the mountain. So thank y'all for watching part 2. Stick around for part 3. It's going to start getting a whole lot more fun. Thank you for joining me.